All right, so just a couple things. As we're coming in, the people, our school board, Mr. Kedley, Mrs. Phillips, Mr. Colpitz, and myself will follow you guys in. So once we get on stage here, I'll then come to start the ceremony, and I will ask you to be seated, so you can go ahead and be seated. So stay standing until that happens. So the first part of it, I'll say a couple words, and then I'm going to introduce everybody on stage. So we'll have our school board members. We'll have Mr. Colpitz, our superintendent, and then myself, Mr. Kedley, and Mrs. Phillips. When I introduce Mrs. Phillips, Sam Raker, that is your cue to start walking up on stage. So come on up. That'll give you a little bit of time. I'll have a couple things that I will say while you're walking up. And then she will, once she gets on stage, she'll say a couple words and give a welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Perfect. Yep. We'll practice afterwards. You're good.
Okay.
It's a riveting speech, I promise. Once Sam sits down, then I will introduce our school board president, Jessica Pape, who will give our address on behalf of our faculty and staff. And then once she's done, Mr. Kedley will be introduced to recognize our American Citizenship Award recipient. Once that person is announced, you will actually come on stage, and Mr. Kedley will put that as kind of, part of the things that he says. And we do have a medal to give that individual. Anything you want to add to that? The medals will be on stage. Yep. So if you're getting a medal, you'll come up, you'll walk up on the stairs here, get your medal, and then you'll leave the stage this way and go back and sit down. Once we're done with that, Mr. Kedley will stay on stage and he will recognize our silver cord recipient. So if you have the silver cord, he will read your name. Once he reads your name, we ask that you stand up and remain standing until he has recognized everybody who's giving that award, and then the crowd would give you an applause for doing that. Once we're done with that, he will introduce Mrs. Phillips, and Mrs. Phillips will come to stage to recognize anyone who is graduating with honors. And when that happens, she is going to read out everybody's name. You will all stand up once you hear your name, and then once everybody has been read, the crowd will applause, and then you'll sit down as a group. Same thing then will happen for anybody graduating with high honors. She'll read their names, you'll stand up. Once everybody's name has been read, you will go ahead and get the applause, and then you will sit down at that point. Mrs. Phillips will then turn it over to Mr. Kedley for our new senior scholar this year. We have 3 of you who will be receiving that recognition. Again, for that one, you have a stole that you'll wear during the ceremony, but also we do have a medal that we will present you that day as well. So when your name is read, when Mr. Kedley reads that, you'll come up on stage, again entering this side like you would when you get your diploma, get your medal, and then you'll walk down the stairs here and return to your seats at that point. Anything I'm missing? Anybody you can think of? Okay. Once we are done with the senior scholar, that's when we will go ahead and award you your diplomas. And so the way that'll work is I will give Alex over here a cue, and we'll have, basically the way it'll happen is right on the bottom there next to the stairs is a table. Mr. Kedley will be standing between that and your, and the stage. Does everybody see the table on the stage right now? That small square one? Mr. Kedley will take your diploma and he's just gonna set it on the stage. So when you walk up the stairs, you're gonna walk across stage, grab your diploma there. There's also a little X on the stage here. Once you get to the X, what I would ask you to do, and this is kind of your one photo op. So if you miss it, your parents are gonna be really mad at you, okay? Stand on the X, pause, turn to your family, let them take a nice picture, and then proceed down the steps on this side. So, also, as mentioned earlier in the practice, everybody on this last row over here, so behind Alex and behind, you guys are going to be the cue for standing up and sitting down as a group. Okay, so when Alex comes up to get his diploma, he will give you guys in the front row a cue. We've got complete confidence. The other thing we ask too is, once there's about 3 people left in line to get your diploma, that's when the next row would leave and go ahead and get in line, okay? So that hopefully makes sense. The one thing that I would say is please stop on the X, okay? Every year there's somebody who grabs their diploma, they're pretty stinking excited, and they just sprint across the stage, down the stairs and back there, and then their parents are mad because they didn't get a nice picture, okay? So that's only a few seconds on stage there. Make sure you enjoy that. So we will go ahead and practice this. I will read everybody's name, so if I mispronounce something or butcher something, please stop and let me know to make sure I get that right, especially if those of you who have not read your middle names yet. So just to keep in mind with that. So, you ready? Okay. Right, we'll say something now. I'll give you a quick thumbs up. You give your cue, you stand up. Okay, now you guys go ahead over there. Alex Reed Aitchinson. Jesus Guadalupe Barrios. Nice job. Connor David Booth. Cade Garrett Brower. Charles David Bruns. Cheyenne Joy Caldwell. Sophie Marie Callahan. Kiefer John Clark. Jarrett Thomas Connolly. Rylan James Crowley. You didn't stop at the X. Colson Seth Cruciani. Skylar Lynn Dolphin. Michael Joseph Dresler. Alexis May Feldman. Did I get it right? Okay. Anna Irene Finzel. Gavin Patrick Faust Wollenberg. Isabel Lauren Franzen. Chloe K. Gertz. Brady Michael Gale. Nathan Michael Gale. Lily Ann Gert. Carter Christopher Green. Zachary Dennis Green. Elena Lynn Harbaugh. Jessica Ellen Huffman. Isaac Charles Hogan. Colby Thomas Holmes. Haley Jean Keenlance. Nate. Erin Marie Knipper. Jessica Marie Kramer. Clara Cecilia Lynch. Wyatt Richard Lynch. Ashley Rose Lyons. Nicole Marie McDermott. Molly Ray McAmeal. Lily Pearl Murfeld. Benjamin Richard Miller. Luke Robert Miller. Hugh Richard Maloney. Anthony Munoz. Jose Manuel Navavega. Manuel or Manuel? Manuel. Samuel Douglas Noonan. Rogelio Michael Nunez. Carter James Oberbrockling. About time you got a haircut. About time you got a haircut. William Bruce Potter. Tremaine Alexander Poles. Samantha Ann Raker. Caden James Rinke. Emma Marie Sanders. Joseph Michael Shannon. Isabella Rose Shepard. Jordan Elizabeth Simon. Trevor James Tyne. Luke Edwin Tracy. Lillian Elizabeth Trum. Michael John Trum.
You think I won't?
Taylor Lynn Waller. Aaliyah Evelyn Weber. Abigail Lynn Welter. Nobody told me different. All right, nice job. Anything you guys saw over there, Mrs. Phillips, Mr. Kedley? Hallie. What'd I say? Haley? All right. Yeah, so keep in mind with everything that's going on, we do have a couple who aren't able to join us for just a number of things that are going on, vacations, things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep everybody's name on there. We're still going to read everybody's, every graduate's name, just with what's going on. So keep in mind too, if something were to happen and the person next to you isn't here, we're going to treat the ceremony like they are. So your seat is always your seat, and just keep that in mind as we go. So nice job with that. So once everybody has received their diplomas, I will ask Gavin and Isabel to come to the stage to give their closing remarks. So you guys are kind of up front, so you guys can just come over here together. We'll practice. Come on up. Always go straight to the outside. Should have hollered.
Do you want me to give a speech?
Just say hello.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
What she said?
Okay, so they will give the farewell address with what's going on. Now then after that, I'll have a couple words to share. And then what I'm going to do is ask all of you to stand. Okay, so when you're here, your tassel will be on your right. And so as I'm going through, basically this is going to be the part where we certify you as graduates and we say that you've met all the requirements from the state of Iowa. We will ask you to turn your tassel from right to left. Okay, so that will mean that you're an official graduate now of Cascade High School. And then what is going to happen after that is you're going to have a little bit of applause. We'll say congratulations. There's going to be an applause again. Mr. Butterworth will be playing some recessional music. And then what I will do is I'm going to give Alex just a quick cue, probably a thumbs up or something like that. And at that point in time, he will lead us out again. This time we're going to go back up by where Lily is. You'll go up those stairs there, and that's where we're going to ask you to leave through the activities entrance out into the parking lot, meet your family and everybody there. So you'll kind of just follow the same way you came up for receiving your diploma is what you'll go through with that. So we'll leave that way, but once I ask you to stand for your tassels, you'll basically stay standing for the rest of the ceremony, which will be very, very quickly, and then we'll get you out of here and on your ways. Other than that, you guys go ahead and sit down. I just have a couple reminders to go over with you as we go through. The first one, one of the things that we're able to do, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but like WD is having to hold their ceremony outside. They're going to be battling weather and those sorts of things, I'm sure. One of the things that we need you to do, I'd love nothing more than to sit around and let you guys celebrate, take pictures, and do those sorts of things. We're still governed by a point in time, though, where we do need you to leave the building, okay? So please go home. I'll share that via email with your parents as well. And I think that some of your parents are organizing a parade and stuff through town, which you have some stuff to get to anyway, but please do exit the building as soon as you can through the activity entrance. Just a couple reminders again that I want to go over again. Please understand that getting your diploma is a right, the ceremony is a privilege. Okay, so making sure that you're coming in a position to be prepared to participate in the ceremony is going to be really important. And that is not something, and I'll be honest with you, there have been situations where we've had to take graduation away from people. And that's a devastating thing for their family, and I don't want to be in that situation again, nor do we. It is something that is, I think, very traditional as we are presenting you as a class to the community. And I think of how well the community supports our school, supports all of you in the last number of years that you've been here in school. I think it's important that we show our community to appreciation for that. Couple reminders just to go through, and these are going to be important. Please do be on time. And we ask again that you line up in that FFA, that freshman hallway. We ask that you be there by 12:30. There's going to be last minute things that you're going to need to take care of. Mrs. Phillips and Mr. Kedley will be there to help out. So when you come in the activities entrance, I would say just go through the lobby and get yourself in alphabetical order. But remember, we are going to start at 1 o'clock sharp. Okay, so we need you here by 12:30 so that we can get everybody ready to go on time. Be ready to participate, and I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier as well. It is an important ceremony. It is a representation of our class, and I think that's important that you're ready to participate and be ready for that traditional format. Again, because it is that group celebration, we do not allow you or have anybody do any personalization to their cap and gown. I know some of you have asked about that, and again, those are times to be able to do that. Stoles, cords, medals, all of those awards that you've received, if you have not gotten them from the school and you have not gotten them today, we ask that they not be worn during the graduation ceremony. And probably the last one, which I think is important, I know all of you will wear a cap and gown, but please dress professionally underneath of it. If you're able to wear a shirt and tie, dress, whatever you choose to wear at that point would be greatly appreciated. Also, ladies, I would be very careful with large heels. As you could see, the stage shakes a little bit. So just be mindful of that. And I told Mrs. Reese earlier, I have not been part of a graduation yet where somebody hasn't fallen down the stairs. So just be patient when you're going down the stairs, especially with your gown. Gentlemen, I'm talking to you here. You have shoes that you're not used to, things kind of hanging around your feet. I've seen more guys trip down the stairs than I have girls. So just remember that as you're going through and doing that. I do ask that after we practice leaving, I ask that our speakers, so Sam, Gavin, and Isabel, if you guys could stay, just to have a couple things to go over with regard to speeches. Please tell your parents that the doors to the ceremony will not open until 12 noon. Also remind them that there is no floor seating. So just something to remind them of with that. And please, again, we're going to put some things around to kind of tell people where to sit. But again, understanding there are going to be seats in the front row that are open, but please ask your parents to follow those social distancing guidelines that we need to do. So those will open up at 12 o'clock. Quick raise of hands. How many of you have not taken your graduation gown out of the bag yet? Please do so, otherwise it will be incredibly wrinkly when you come for the ceremony on Sunday, so do that. The other thing, I've heard several of your parents have asked about the live stream and all of those sorts of things that are going on. We are planning on putting that together. Mr. Kedley's been working to arrange that. Just so you're aware, the camera will be right there to kind of catch you walking across the stage. But we will be sharing that link once we get everything up and running. So we're actually practicing and trying a couple things today to make sure that the sound works out. But please check your email, check social media. We'll get that link sent out as soon as possible. Mr. Kedley, anything you want to add with that? Okay. Mr. Miller, we can touch base just real quickly when we're done. We'll get you caught up, but I think you're sitting up here. Again, as another reminder, I said this in the beginning, those tickets, do not lose them. Make sure they get to your parents right away, okay? Because that is not something that we're going to be able to replace. Those are something that's going to be your responsibility to get them home to your parents. Any other thoughts before we dismiss, guys? What's that? There's 4 tickets. Everybody who comes in needs a ticket. Yeah, that would be something, and if you're able to, parking further away from the entrance, just to help out anybody who might be coming that would need some additional assistance for your parents, grandparents, anybody who might be coming, I think that would be helpful. Good point. All right, last thing here. I say this every year. You know, obviously we didn't have a prom, we didn't have a traditional graduation and those sorts of things. But the one thing that I always like to talk about with that is, guys, I know you're going and celebrating at your graduation parties and those sorts of things. Please make good decisions. I can't emphasize that enough. Unfortunately, and you know what, we made a comment today that this is one of the first classes or one of the few that's gone through where they haven't lost somebody. Okay, so let's not change that now. And I can't tell you what that does to a school. I can't tell you what that does to a community, and I can't tell you what that does to each other when we're not making good decisions doing those things. So please help us out with that. The other thing I'm going to ask for some help with, there's been a lot of trash, there's been a lot of alcohol cans and those sorts of things that have been happening and popping up, especially after weekends in school. I don't think it's anybody in this class doing that, but if you know who is, please let us know. Again, I go back to part of our responsibility as graduates of Cascade is to show our community, what type of young men and women that we are, and I think that that's important. But please, take care of each other. And I think that's something that's going to be really important as you go through and obviously celebrate your accomplishments of your class, but make sure you're doing so in a safe setting, in a safe environment, and make good choices. Okay? So, with that, we'll go ahead and stand back up again. So, Ben, if you could stay after, and then also Caden, when you're done, if you could swing up and see me real quick too. We will go ahead and we're going to turn the tassels again. Mr. Butterworth will play the music. Once the music starts, I will give Alex the thumbs up and he will lead us out. Once you're done, have a good afternoon. We'll see you Sunday. Practice leaving Colby. Thank you. All right, you're good to go. Thank you, guys. So basically what you're going to have here is a book or a binder. Peaches will be in it. So kind of like what I had told them is if I can get that tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, that would be perfect. But basically when you come up for Sam, I will have it ready and it's just there for you. So you just need to flip through it as you can. Okay. You two, kind of the same thing. Once I'm done with the diplomas, I'll introduce you and then your speech would be up there. Now, do you know who is saying what or how that's going? Yeah. Okay. So make sure you've got that done.
Move it in between each of us talk.
Well, and that's the other part is we have to have two mics. Okay, so this mic here is the sound for the gym. This mic here is actually Bluetoothed into the computer as far as being able to make sure that when people view it online, they're actually hearing the words. So you don't have to be overly close.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, I'm just making sure that you said Lillian instead of Lily.
He did, because I went.
Because I couldn't really.
Yep, Lillian.
Okay, thank you.
We're getting paper, and I'm going to have you kind of put it where you want to do. Hey, Mrs. Phillips, can you touch base with Ben and just kind of give him a quick rundown?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. No, I think you can figure it out. Thank you. Thank you for, I know you've been hustling to get back, so thank you. We're going to get some paper, and then let's make sure that, where are you thinking?
I got the navy, just one strap ones.
Okay. Now, let me know if you change your mind, because normally when parents buy jerseys, I usually put them over. Because everything in the ceremony is you coming this way.
Adjust
You
it?
just want to practice talking in it. Does that make sense? Yeah, but
Oh, it comes all the way down. Okay, I just might have not done it. Okay. Oh, I literally licked it.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah? Yup. Yes.
Hello. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Can we hold it? Oh, then you won't
You'd
get
have
that
to hold
one.
both of them. Give Isabel like a little block.
Okay, I will actually stand on a stool.
Yeah, I will too.
No, it gets low. It doesn't get high.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
now stand like how you would talk.
hello, my name is Gavin Faust Wallenberg. No.
So take the other one.
This one.
Yep. There you go. There you go.
Hello, my name is Gavin Faust Wallenberg. And then just kind of. I would. Oh, I don't know, Mr. Kedley.
Okay, but what if you like push it off the stage?
That would be so
Oh
funny.
no.
I don't want to like touch the mic.
Hello, my name is Gavin Faust Wallenberg. I'm 18 years old.
My criminal record is.
Isabel.
So Isabel, take yours down, try to move.
I think we should give Isabel a box.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, that's
Good.
Now, come back and say it the way you need it.
Okay, we need to
They don't like
rearrange
that.
how we're doing our speech then.
Yeah.
Because like it's not.
You'll be fine. That there. Now you're good. You're gonna want to make
I'm
sure
good.
there's only one transition.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
like 25 billion.
Yeah.
So now, and I would say too is if you needed to, is just adjust this one, and if you need to hold this one, you could
Oh, yeah.
probably just hold it too, because I know it's not.
Yeah.
So you're used to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the other thing too, I've done this before. If this helps you guys, if you want to come like at 11:30 and practice and actually be able to kind of hear what it sounds like,
Yeah.
we can do that too.
Okay.
Because then you can actually see the book and everything, and you can read through
Yeah,
the
that'd make
first
me feel
couple
better.
lines.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that.
So